And we begin this project already in progress. Normally when I've done natural hair on dolls before, I have used pipe cleaners. And I have gotten very frustrated with how the pipe cleaner fuzz seems to tangle with the doll hair, and that makes it really hard to get it back out of the hair when I'm done. So I decided this time I would try using wire, and I got into my box of jewelry wire and rediscovered this length of wire that is plastic coated that I've had for years, and I got it secondhand, and I can't tell you anything else about it other than it exists. It's very soft. The wire coating is kind of thick, and so I started using it to twist the doll hair around and very quickly realized that I would be able to do this entire project without cutting the wire. Just one piece, twist the hair, and then twist it around the next part, and then twist it around the next part. So I thought that experiment was worth recording, just to see if it worked. This probably would have been easier if the head had been on a body, and I could have clamped the body between my knees and used both hands to separate the hair. But for whatever reason, I wasn't doing it that way. So you get to see me awkwardly fumble with the hair, twist it around until it gets to be a coil, and then you start twisting it the same direction, I believe it is, around the wire. If you twist it the wrong direction, then the hair starts to untwist. And the point of doing the hair like this is you need the twists to be twisted. You need everything to be as tubular as possible. This is a relatively fast project compared to other things that you can do with doll hair, but it's not the fastest project. In a moment, I am going to speed the video up. Really, I am. Of course, the more I did this, the easier it got to separate and twist the hair. There we go. And this is at 8 times speed. It didn't take, like I said, a long time to get all of her hair twisted up. I could have done smaller twists. Actually, I think I probably could have done larger twists and it would have worked. And you can see in the background one of the painted LOL OMGs with no face, so that lets you know how long ago it was that I recorded this video. Twist the hair around itself, twist the hair around the wire, then roll the wire up to hold the hair in place. Now, if I'd wanted to do this the best way possible, I would have used end papers. I have used end papers in the past, cut from tracing paper, and that does help the curl go all the way to the end. As this is, the ends are going to be flat and angular, but they will be trimmed off eventually. We're almost there. Almost. And there it is. All of her hair is twisted up. And then I took her off and dunked her in some boiling hot water. Now to set her aside and let her dry. Next day, time to undo everything that you just saw me do. Unfortunately, the hair did still tangle around itself. Not as bad as when it was tangling around the fuzz in pipe cleaners, but pretty bad and annoying. And I was feeling a little despair, but then I tried pulling the wire out of the tangled hair, And because the wire is smooth, unlike pipe cleaner, I actually did get it pulled out. And yeah, there he goes. So again, it's not instantaneous. It does take some time to get the hair out of the twists. And yes, I need pliers to help get hold of the wire to pull it out. But it is so worth it. I believe this doll had Kennecolon hair, which is, it'll hold a curl okay. Saran is the fiber that is notorious for being really hard to curl. But this hair holds the curl well enough for a natural looking result. Yeah, at this point I cut the wire just to make it easier to pull out of the twists. Some untwisting, some pulling, some finagling with the pliers. Again, the pliers and the wire are because I do have an interest in making jewelry. Whoops, of course I dropped things. Everything is untwisted while the wire's out. I thought I would be able to use this wide tooth LOL LMG comb like a pick to get everything teased apart, and no, not really at this point. So I have to start breaking things apart, one curl at a time. And the hair's still kind of twisted around itself and grabbing itself, and I believe there was a lot of breakage I heard happening. Here we go, speeding up again because it does take so long, but not that long. You know, that's how it is with doll customizing. There are things you could do that take longer, and there are things you could do that take less time. This is faster than a reroute, is what I'm saying. And eventually I did get it teased apart enough, pulled apart enough that I could get the comb in to pick it apart. Of course, you don't want to actually comb or brush hair like this. Not in a doll, not in real life. That just ruins the texture. You see the hair is getting massive. This was a hip to be square Barbie, and the whole hip to be square line had stick straight hair. So, finding the part, there is a part in there. And then, now it's time to cut all those hard angled ends off that I mentioned earlier, because I was too lazy to use end paper. And this is the kind of thing that I go around and around and around with. I cut the ends off, and then I rumple the hair a little bit and more longer ends show up. And I cut those off, and I rumple the hair more and long ends show up, and I cut those off. And I start to worry that I'm cutting too much hair off. And eventually I get to a point where I know I could cut more off, and I have been finding more to cut off in the weeks since I did this. But I'm learning to get to a point where I say, that's good enough. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be fun. And I guess I could have edited all this out instead of showing it to you in high speed, but, you know. I'm trying to show that there is some work in this. Even though, again, it's not a reroute. And, this is looking good. So, yeah, it's time to pull things out and cut more hair. And here we are.